Hello everyone, I hope you all are doing well. In this video we will go over the artifact mods and what they do, talk about key terms like threat, surge and overcharged. I will take you through step by step in the making of a loadout, explaining the new mods and more. Timestamps are in the description below. Let's first start off by explaining what has changed with the character menu and the mods to make it easier to navigate. Open up your character menu and you'll be met with this screen. Now on the left you will see the barrier, champion and overload symbols. When you highlight the symbols, the game will tell you what subclass and their effects can stun each of the champions. So for barriers we have Radiant, which is solar, Unraveling, which is strand, Volatile is void. There is no stasis or arc, so that does not stun barriers. If you go and look at unstops though, you will see that arc blind stuns unstops. So for example, your blinding arc grenades will do. Scroll through and you can see which champ can be stunned by which subclass. For some of them you will need to equip certain fragments, aspects and abilities. Your weapons can also stun champions, and unlike in the previous seasons, you do not need to equip them onto your armor. Instead, you can unlock them on your artifact and it will affect all your weapons. So in this case I have pulse rifles, which will make whatever pulse I equip stun barriers. However, there are certain exotics like Leviathan's Breath, which has an intrinsic trait for stunning unstops. Exotic intrinsic traits that affect champs will always replace the artifact perks. For example, Leviathan is good against unstops, but it cannot have overload rounds even if the perk is active. Now, unlike previous seasons, you cannot have all 25 perks available. You can only choose 12. Now, the line at the bottom indicates how many perks you need to unlock in order to move on to the next column. So if you unlock 3 perks, this will unlock the second column. Activating another 2 perks will unlock the next column, and then another 2 will activate the fourth column. You need a total of 10 perks to reach the last column. It doesn't matter which perks you choose or how many from each individual column, only the total amount. Additionally, you now have 3 more keywords to understand. Those are threat, surge and overcharged. They are basically the burn from past activities but split up so you can have even more loadout variations. These are effects that are placed on higher endgame activities like Grandmaster Nightfalls, Lost Sectors, etc. Let's take a look at Nightfalls for example. Each week will have a different rotating threat, surge and overcharged weapon. Threat is the increase in damage from a certain elemental damage type, just like in the past within the Lost Sector burn or Nightfall burns. Then you have surges. Surges give you a 25% damage boost to your subclass, so for this week it is solar and strand. Strand being the rotator every week for this season. This means your solar and strand abilities will do extra damage. The other perk is if you match your subclass to a surge type, your kinetic weapons will also gain a 25% damage buff. Moving on to overcharged weapons. Any overcharged weapon will have a 25% damage boost. For example, the weekly overcharged weapon is snipers, which will always be rotating. However, perks on your artifact will also make your weapons overcharged too. Every single champion weapon is overcharged, regardless of the activity modifier. So for example, since the surge is solar and the overcharged weapon is snipers, then a void glaive shouldn't work. However, if you have the artifact mod Medieval Champions unlocked, then any glaive and sword regardless of the activity modifier will have a 25% increase in damage because they are overcharged. So to summarize, threat increases incoming damage by 25%. Having a subclass that matches the element of a surge boosts durability damage and kinetic damage by 25%. Overcharged weapons gain a 25% damage boost regardless of the activity's modifiers, but they do not stack with surge. Okay, with that out of the way, let's make a loadout together. I will literally walk you through the making of one step by step, including the mods. You can have a max of 6 loadouts and you can increase it to 10 by ranking up in the journey tab of your screen. Each rank can be unlocked by simply progressing through the game. This is where you will also find your commendations, which is positive feedback you can receive from your fellow guardians at the end of each activity completion. These reset at the end of each season, although it states that some will get carried over. I honestly do not know how much, so keep an eye out for it. Your titles and triumphs are also there and they are nicely summarized. So with the loadouts, you will first need to equip your desired subclass, aspects, fragments, weapons, armor and mods. Once this is done, you can swipe to the left, which will open the loadouts page. You then click on an empty slot and this will save it. Additionally, you can overwrite previous loadouts too if you ever want to update them or change them. So let's start from the beginning. I want to make a stasis loadout for ad clear, which I can use at Gatekeeper in the Vault of Glass raid on master difficulty. Keep it specific or general, it is up to you. So equip your stasis subclass or whatever one you want, choose your aspects and fragments that best suit you. Now I like to play around with 100 stats, so my loadout isn't fully optimized. Once you have your subclass and fragments, go back to the weapons and armor. I suggest you do this in the helm so that you have easy access to a vault instead of having to use an app to transfer all the items. Alright, next I want to equip my weapons. I like to run Aegis for freezing the enemies. Make it easy to control the ads. There are barriers in the room, so I'm going to equip a pulse because that is what I have unlocked on my artifact. I could also use a sidearm, but I prefer range. Next is heavy. I need something strong against the wyverns, so I will use my RPG with adept big spec on it. I also know there are overloads and stasis slow is strong against them. Next is armor. I can either run an Eye of Another World to increase ability regen or run Osmiomancy gloves to have more turrets. For the purpose of the activity I will run double turrets, so let's equip my desired armor including the exotic. Next up are mods. Choose whichever ones you want. Let's start with the helmet. In the first slot of every single armor piece you will find your stat mods. This is where you can equip your +5 or +10 mods to increase your stats. If you have Artifice armor, then you will have a second slot where you can equip a +3 stat mod that does not take any additional energy. Otherwise, if you have normal armor, you will have a total of 4 slots. The remaining slots are all the same, which means you can equip 3 of the same mod if you choose to. So if I wanted to, I could equip 3 special ammo finder mods which do stack. Each mod will tell you at the bottom if it stacks. Your helmet is where you will find all your ammo finder mods, including ammo scout mods which are new. These mods generate ammo for your teammates when you have a ammo finder mod equipped. Next, you have mods that are tied in with your super. These are Dynamo, Ashes to Assets, and Hands On. For Dynamo, using your class ability, so Warlock Healing Rift, Titan Barricades, or Hunter Dodge reduces super cooldown. Ashes to Assets is getting grenade kills and Hands On is getting melee kills, both of which also reduce your super cooldown. Next is Power Preservation, which allows you to generate orbs for your allies upon getting kills with your super. By stacking the mod, the orbs give you more super energy per mod stack. Next you have your armor charge mods. What these are is essentially charged with light. There are 3 types, green, blue and yellow. Green mods give you armor charge and can boost it, so for the helmet you have Radiant Light which gives you armor charge to your nearby allies when you cast your super. If your allies have a different subclass from you, then they will get 2 stacks. Powerful Friends give your allies an armor charge when you pick up an Orb of Power. Blue mods use your armor charge to give you passive limited time buffs to your stats that once run out remove your stacks of armor charge. So for the helmet you have Font of Wisdom which buffs your intellect whilst you have armor charge. As you can see, each time I collect an orb I get armor charge and the mod immediately begins to decay my armor charge. If I have multiple stacks of it, it will simply move to the next charge once one is depleted. If a buff lasts for 10 seconds, then that is how long one stack of armor charge will last before being removed from you. Meanwhile, the yellow mods give you an effect. This could be an overshield or a finisher could heal you, etc. They also don't decay over time and instead consume armor charge per usage and in some cases multiple copies. There aren't any for the helmet, so we will get to them when we go through the rest of the armor. Next on the helmet you have your basic rapid elemental weapon kills generate orbs. These are self-explanatory. Try to get 2 to 3 kills and you will get an orb. All these mods used to be linked to certain weapons like SMGs or scouts. Instead, they have been converted into elemental types, so take the Void Siphon for example. Equip a Void Heavy, Special or Kinetic weapon and this mod will generate orbs for you whenever you rapidly defeat combatants with any of the Void weapons that you have equipped. On the last page you will have your target acquisition mods. Same as before, they too are linked to elements. If you want to do Crucible and you are running a Solar Heavy and Special, then equip the Solar Targeting mod. On to gauntlets. The first few mods are self-explanatory, the next ones are to do with your armor charge. So in this case you have grenade kickstart, which will consume your armor charge when your grenade energy is depleted, and it will give some grenade energy back to you. The more armor charge you have, the more energy you get back. But remember, this is an instant consumption and not decay like the blue mods. In this case you have Font of Vigor, which gives you bonus to strength, as well as Font of Focus, which gives you a bonus to grenade energy. You'll have one green mod which gives you armor charge upon breaking an enemy shield with a matching weapon element, so a solar weapon breaking a solar shield. Then you have all your faster reloads and quicker store type mods based on weapon elements, just like on the helmet. Onto chest armor. The first line consists of all your resistant mods for each type of element, followed by the concussive dampeners, which are good against anything explosive, your melee resist, so that is close range, and finally your sniper resist, which is anything greater than 20 meters away from you. Then you have your yellow, blue and green mods. Emergency reinforcement gives you damage reduction when your shields break, but it consumes 3 stacks of charged with light. Your Font of Endurance buffs your resilience for 10 seconds per stack of armor charge, just like the other blue charged with light mods. Your charged up mod simply increases how many armor charges you can hold. Then you have Loosened Blade mod, which was a key component in using swords for any damage phase against bosses back in the previous seasons. This is a great mod when using weapons like Lament or Vortex frame swords, etc. Next you have your Unflinching mods, followed by reserves on the last page, all of which yet again are tied to your elemental weapons. Next you have your leg armor. The first row of mods gives you benefits like health ability cooldowns when picking up orbs. I suggest you run a few health mods for the high end activities. You have a green mod that gives you an additional armor charge per orb for a total of 2. The next set are all blue mods, and they all give you an increase to your elemental weapon damages, which are perfect for boss damage phases. Simply put down a well, have some of these equipped and off you go. They work like Font of Might. The last one is your stat boost for mobility, which just like the previous ones lasts for 10 seconds per stack. The next 2 lines are your stored weapons getting reloaded over time, and weapons get bonus reserves when you pick up ammo that is used by that weapon. Okay, lastly we are on the class item. The first 3 simply reduce your ability cooldowns when you're using your other abilities. Next you have your Utility Kickstart, which is great for spamming your class ability like Rift, Barricade and Dodge. Font of Restoration is the last of the blue stat mods that buffs your recovery. If you plan on using a lot of blue mods, then equip this Time Dilation mod that will increase the decay time so it lasts longer. Perfect for damage phases against bosses. The next line is filled with finisher mods that either grant health, ability regen or ammunition. I like to run 2 here, Proximity Ward and Healthy Finisher. Not only do I gain an overshield, but I also get my health back too upon doing a finisher. Perfect for solo activities. The second green mod, Empowered Finisher, only works if you have no armor charge whatsoever. At this point you will have your chosen armor mods completed. Back out and slide the screen right, which summarizes all your armor mod loadouts. Simply press right bumper or the equivalent of it to cycle to the weapons. If you are happy with it, go back to the left and then click to go left again. This is where you want to put your build into. Now let's say you don't have the contents on you because it is in the vault. If you save your build in the loadouts, then you simply equip it and it will transfer the items onto your character, and they will stay there even if you swap back. Just make sure to have room on your character to effectively swap back and forth. And there you have it, these are all the tools you need to begin making your own builds. If you have found the video to be helpful, then please like, comment and share. Don't forget to subscribe to not miss out on future Destiny 2 guides. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you all next time.